In today's episode, we're digging back into this 18th century cookery and we found a very interesting spinach pudding, or we might call it a spinach tart. Thanks for joining us today. So today's recipe comes out of the Modern Art of Cookery improved by Anne Shackelford. This is 1767, a very interesting little cookbook. This recipe is one of those recipes that's here because it's colorful. This is actually a sweet thing. Even though it uses spinach, spinach here probably is mostly here for the color. Let's get started. Our first step is to prepare our cream. We've got a nice little pan here. We're gonna put in a pint of heavy cream, and into that cream, we're gonna place our flavorings. We've got some lemon peel, and some nutmeg. Now, normally when you use nutmeg, you grind it up. In this circumstance, we're just sort of infusing the nutmeg flavor into this, so we just got a whole nutmeg that we've quartered, we chopped into pieces. And then I've got a blade of mace. It also calls for mace, so we're actually gonna have some very subtle nutmeggy mace flavors in this. Now let's get this over the fire and heat it up. When this is on the fire, we just want to bring it up to heat and keep stirring it. You don't want it to burn. Now that we've got this up to heat, it's had a chance to sort of infuse all these flavors. Now it's time to strain all this out into our bigger mixing bowl and get rid of the lumps, right? And here are our strainings. We can see that. All that's out, because we want this to be nice and smooth. We're just gonna set this aside and let it cool. While our cream is cooling off, let's start working with our spinach. It calls for a good handful of young spinach. So we've got some baby spinach here, and I'm gonna get it. There's our good handful. We've got some water here, and we're gonna put it on the boil as the recipe calls for. We've got our spinach. I've strained it from its water, and now we're just going to chop it fine. Now we got it chopped fine, we're gonna put it into our main mixing bowl that we're gonna put all our other ingredients into. The recipe calls for 4 whole eggs and then 4 egg yolks. Now let's put all these ingredients together. We do have an awful lot of things here to go together. I've got my spinach, and I'm gonna mix into this bowl, and let's put our egg mixture in. There we go. Now we mix in our cream that we had created earlier. Our cream that's flavored with the nutmeg and the mace. There we go. This is a sweet dish. You might not know it, but that's what it's supposed to be. So we've got sugar. Now, there are no amounts here. Very similar to most 18th century recipes. When it comes to sugar, they just kind of give you, say, sugar to taste. So we don't know exactly how sweet we want to make this. Gosh, what am I going to do here? Let's try 1/4 of a cup. And it called for sugar that was finely pounded in a mortar. I didn't want to get so far as to have powdered sugar here, but it's a little bit finer than your standard granulated sugar. In the period, sugar was in loaves, and they had to kind of grind it into the shape that they wanted to. And our last ingredient in this mixture is sack. Now, sack in the time period was a type of wine that was imported. The closest thing we've probably got in our modern grocery stores would be a sherry, a cooking sherry. I've got a sweet sherry here since this is a sweet sort of pie. Now I've got my ingredients here. We can put this into our pie shell. Let me get that. We've got our puff paste in a tart tin. Let me fill this crust up. Not too full. We want to have it some room there to grow. And the recipe does call for a puff paste, which many of the recipes in this time period do. You can use a regular pie crust if you'd like. And then we top this with some sweetmeats. It calls for some orange and lemon peel at the very top. Now, hopefully they'll sort of sit on top. Maybe they won't, but that's all right. So we've got some lemon, some orange. And if you're interested in making your own peel, which it can be hard to get depending on the time of year, usually in the winter toward toward Christmas when people make fruit cakes. It's very easy to find them, and then the rest of the year you can't. I also have some green sweetmeats here. You could use lime peel. You can make sure to check out our episode on that. So there's some lime peel, and just for some extra color, I've got some red sweetmeats here. This is made with dried strawberries. There you go. Okay, this is ready to go into the oven. It calls for baking it approximately 30 minutes or so. I would imagine this would go in at that normal kind of 350 to 400 baking temperature. I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take, so I'm gonna make sure to watch it. But let's get this one in the oven. Okay, so I can't wait to try this one out. It's it's one that I would call interesting right off the bat. I want to see what this tastes like because I can't imagine sweetmeats, sugar, eggs, all in a puff paste. Let's see what happens. So it's got that very interesting sweetness to it that you're not expecting, and that sweetness takes away some of that strange eggy flavor that we might think we were going to be getting here. Actually, it's really good. I might go a little bit farther maybe with kind of putting some more of the lemon flavor in there. It depends though. It would be a good vehicle so that you could experiment and put different kind of flavors in this. And maybe that's what the idea here is that we could take these sweetmeats, we could infuse more flavors, say more nutmeg, or maybe we could put cinnamon in here as a different thing, but a very interesting looking dessert. And you could do so many interesting things with the flavors. This one is really kind of fun. If you're interested in print versions of these cookbooks, this one and many other cookbooks, make sure to check out our website. You'll find a link down in the description section. And if you're looking for other recipes that are similar to this, make sure to check out the candied lime peel episode. You'll find that over here.